where
predict
I take
that.
words and then I split them into different words. Like go for it, go for it.
Oh, God. Okay,
never hear
right.
it
We are
anything
on
else.
to the rift between Gamers2 on the blue side, who already have won their first game of the day. Over on the red side is going to be SK Gaming Prime. And I always forget the first time I read that name that I have to be very careful with the mid laner from SK Gaming Prime.
Tick, trick, and duck?
Yes, exactly.
What the fox? What a fox!
Oh, man. It was the worst when there was the team The Fox Sound.
Oh, yes.
My accent makes it very difficult to decipher what I'm saying, if I say that quickly. However, SK Gaming Prime are looking to invade. They got spotted out by Dude. This is our first aggressive stance. Dude is going to ward it out. That is... retains the vision.
Couldn't quite kill the ward. That would have actually been quite a nice little windfall, because of course they have no sweepers, which means this invade could not possibly stay, essentially. Unless they can catch someone on the way out. Which isn't... It's not very likely, considering there are two people there and Ocelot is not stupid.
Gamers2 are playing that a little bit deadly, though. A bit dangerous. They had Yuki down in the tri-bush. Ocelot was on his own blocking the other entrance, and one Sonic Wave could have been a lot of damage going down onto an important target from Gamers2. I think they had enough vision that that shouldn't have happened.
I guess. It was a possibility that one of them could get caught out. But it's always, as long as you're very careful about where they might be, you should be able to dodge. Even like a flash dark binding, because you've always got your flash. You can always dodge in a level 1 fight the one crowd control skill shot. And it gave them the opportunity, because they knew where everyone was, they knew they hadn't left, they had the opportunity to go for the counter invade. So it's actually Gamers2 that come out ahead in terms of the vision. They know exactly where these things are starting. Will give them a little bit of an edge.
The fact that SK went aggressive in the very beginning and didn't take a sweeper is a little bit to do with the itemization. So sometimes you'll see a support take that sweeper trinket in the very early, even a jungle sometimes will end up taking that. But you want the early ward on Lee Sin to ward hop if you need it. Also, Braum is going to want health potions. Being a melee support is going to need that extra sustain, so can't afford the actual ward. And you can see how much damage they're taking here. And that's a lot of damage at level 2 already.
Nice little trade. Yuki always was a very, very good Lucian player. So even though this is the hyper carry meta, maybe understandable that he is not playing Twitch. But could cause problems for them in the late game. They're very focused around deleting the enemy. But basically, SK's peel is not going to be strong enough in the late game to protect Cogmore against this level of dive. So they're going to have to be the ones diving and make sure the Gamers2 are too distracted, which means this could be a very snowbally game.
And looking at that bottom lane, you can see why it's a little tricksy to play Braum into a Morgana. In the very early levels where Braum is pretty vulnerable, has to come into melee range, you can land those Dark Bindings, get the Tormented Soil harass down. Obviously, Tormented Soil a little bit later into the laning phase, but the damage is there at a Morgana.
Yeah, and it also means that the usual trick that a Braum likes to pull, where he jumps to a minion and gets in close, gets the auto-attack, gets the Q, gets the stun down. If you see yourself being locked into that position, you have all the time in the world to Black Shield. You will never get stunned unless Morgana is just either wildly out of position or dead.
You can see Smitty J up in that top lane, drops a ward as Elise was hovering around topside. Wasn't quite in range for it yet, but a good ward nevertheless out of Smitty there. And a little, again, quite a slow pace to the beginning of the game. It's what we've kind of got used to here on 4.10, 4.11. 4.11 is where we are at.
It should be 4.11, really.
It should be. The mathematician in me wants to say that, as that for the last like 20 years of my life is how I've been told to read decimals, but for the sake of knowing actually what patch we're on,
yes,
especially with 4.10, because it's 4. It doesn't matter anyway. 4.11 is where
zero should be eliminated technically. If we were reading it as it doesn't matter. Maths chat is irrelevant.
4.11 is where we're at. Middle lane is where we're focusing. Windwall went down just a little bit further away, but here goes What the Fox into... Ooh, I actually got a heal. That's he'll take that for sure.
Yeah, all he did was dash around the place. There is also a potential gank in the top lane right now.
Yeah, JWoww dropped pretty low there. Smitty is going to dodge out. The cocoon was forced to flash. Flash comes out from JWoww. He's going to go aggressive on this. They've got him behind the tower. Morden has to be careful. Look at that damage from the changed towers.
Yeah, really very significant amount of that. Spiderlings actually managed to tank a couple of the shots there, though, so a little bit less damage than they would have taken otherwise, but they did okay. Right now, GAMERS2, they're just not really achieving all that much in any of their lanes, but they'll be happy to farm up from there.
Ooh, a couple of minions away in that middle lane is What the Fox from level 6. That all-important level 6 for Yasuo. That is a very difficult time of the game for Ziggs if he doesn't beat him to 6. There is the level 6. Let's jump up to middle lane. Keep an eye on that.
You've got to remember as well, there's the Lee Sin Yasuo combo this time, so the gank pressure from those two together is just so to deal with. I'm talking as someone who's been on the receiving end of it from much less skilled players.
Oh, bottom lane, however, Zlatan is going to use that Unbreakable, block out a lot of the damage, and there's a lot of activity in both top and mid as well. Top lane looks like it might kick off first, but, you know, Broken Shot is being pretty patient about this.
He is. He's not level 6 himself. Got quite a bit of damage in spite of that, but neither is Smitty.
Yeah, there is the engage. However, Smitty did drop pretty low to begin this one. Look at the amount of damage that's coming out. Transcendent Blades is doing so much right now. Nice stun onto Broken Shot. He's looking for the jump. Gets to the ward. Gets the Tempest. Isn't able to pick that up. Meanwhile, chasing towards the top lane, Ocelot is looking to use the Mega Inferno Bomb. Windwall, what the fox was that? But missed it, and the satchel charge, it's still in range. Boom. They're going to pick up the kill. Ocelot picks that up. That wind wall, not the best place, and yeah.
No. He was trying to kind of predict exactly when the bombs would be coming out of Zig, and hence block them the instant they are spawned. But I think Ocelot was ready for that. He counted the time out, gave maybe, you don't need to be adding a lot of time, just like 0.25 of a second, and you will completely mess up the wind wall timing, which makes the whole skill irrelevant. And even though there's more sustained damage on What a Fox, if he isn't able to very quickly kill Ziggs in that situation, he'll be collapsed upon, and that is exactly what Ocelot was relying on, and that is exactly what happened.
JWoww's Transcendent Blades are nearly available again. And when he gets that, Smitty, if he hasn't backed off, is going to fall. Bottom lane, there's a little bit of activity as well. There we go. The recall did complete. And recalls in the bottom lane. That may leave the tower a little bit vulnerable if they were to push a big wave into that.
Yeah, Cogmore this game, same matchup as yesterday. Last game. It's the past eons away. He's actually starting to lose out on CS, which is not something we saw last time, when it was actually Yuki himself on the Cogmore. This time Lucian has been able to exert a bit of a lane advantage. Not that big of one, though. 10 CS, noticeable, yes. Big enough to really change anything. A little bit doubtful.
Yeah, that is... it's only a small lead, but...
it's there.
That's one thing that actually, in the bottom lane, the gold difference has become somewhat more important on those AD carries. And maybe we'll touch on this in a second, because Broken Shard is around, looking to get into mid lane.
It's a quiet day for jungling, though. Not a lot of success on these ganks, but the wave is pushing. Minions mean you can be dashed on by What a Fox. W to him. Flash W even.
Just waiting for it. Now Broken Shot's going to reveal himself, and Ocelot dodges the cube. That's going to spell the end of that. That is no more action coming.
They smelled the counter gank there. They knew that was coming. That's why you didn't see What a Fox getting as close as he possibly could. He just wanted to make absolutely sure that was in fact the case. Taking a lot of harass. If he'd taken that Q, then maybe an ult satchel charge, he'd have died. But he's actually starting to suffer here. Broken Shard.
Morden was out of the bush.
What is he?
Oh, he kicks Morden.
Wait, what?
Insta-repel. What?
I have no
Yasuo's
idea.
Gonna die here because Bouncing Bomb's going to come up.
I'm guessing that was a lag issue.
Yeah.
On the server side, because it didn't look like the players were effective. Maybe.
I'm wondering, can we get a replay? Can you play that perhaps?
Yeah,
we do have replays. I don't normally like replaying faux pas, but I mean, if it's possible, if we could cue that up, perhaps that would be. Because I want to see what he was aiming for there, because Morden had no idea he was there. It's okay. We'll come back to that when we're ready for it. But turret has gone down. Yeah.
Did he want to ult him and then queue across?
I'm trying to find an excuse for that. Is what I'm saying. But Dragon is going to go down here to GAMERS2. And
we've got the replay.
Yeah, we do have the replay ready. So Morden doesn't see it. Broken Shard.
Oh, he missed the Q.
Yeah, he misses the first Q. That's what I'm asking. Is because he then kicks him in. Okay.
How the hell?
I'm still at a loss.
Back across the wall.
But we are back live, however, and again, Morden is going aggressive, picks up another kill there, and
I have a theory.
Okay.
My theory is what Broken Shard was trying to do was cue him, kick him across the wall, and follow him across.
Yeah,
right. But what happened was he queued, missed, kicked him across the wall, but he didn't go far enough across the wall, and then there was some weird collision detection thing. You know, like when you flash across the wall, you can go further than normal flash. I'm kind of ignoring what's actually going on in the game, but I'm so curious about this.
It was a zigzag to top lane. I didn't quite catch it.
It just like snapped him back because of some weird thing about the way it was detecting his passage across the wall, and like he didn't get far enough, so it snapped him back.
I mean, I'm more concerned with the missed Q.
That was a
missed Q.
That was.
I mean, I don't like ragging on players, but Morden was a stationary.
He said he was in a slump.
Yeah, I guess so. Morden is not stationary anymore because he's in the bottom lane waiting for Unbreakable to time out, looking for the cocoon. Here comes the Soul Shackles. Teleporter, however, out of Smitty J. He has no ultimate though, so his full effect won't be felt here, and Dude is going to fall. However, SK will pick up the first kill for the game for themselves.
Yeah, well, in the end, we have seen some progress from SK Prime here, but they are a long way behind. Like I said, we've been so damn fixated. TP's
coming out again. This is Aurelia heading into the bottom lane. Good damage out of Morden. Aurelia gets right into the fight and will take down Haydal. Zaitan now the next in the sights of Morden, and JWoww is going to chase this one as Broken Shard drops very, very low. Flash forward out of Yuki. That's the aggression we're used to seeing, and GAMERS2 are carrying on right where they left off from the last game.
Yeah, they just picked themselves up a bunch of kills, and that was because SK Prime finally managed to get themselves some little ground, but then they overstayed. They tried to get an objective from it, and I can understand why. They really, really wanted to get that extra bit of gold and put themselves back into contention, but that was just, it was such a horrible situation to deal with JWoww. Everyone's low health. He's practically at the point where he can blade surge between people, and Morden also execute. Broken Shard's going back in, though. That was a little bit just foolish.
Yeah, wasn't too sure on the whole going back in thing there.
Well.
That was, as you said, maybe a bit of a slump.
He has been known to overestimate his ability to kill things in the past.
Do you know what? I feel bad at times when casting, because I don't want to bring up that incident from Broken
But it is very funny.
It is quite funny.
I love you, Broken Shard. I don't mean anything ill of you by saying this. But it is very funny.
Do you know what? I'm just going to move on to a different point here, because there's a lot of aggression coming out of Ocelot, but he is pretty much on his own here in this middle lane. He is now going to be joined by Yuki. But this Yasuo pick is not working out. However, Broken Shard caught out in his own jungle. Nice ward dash, actually. Could get out of this one still.
Double golems on up.
Looked for them, and as you said, they were not available. Bouncing bomb, you could see, just missed. But Broken Shard taken out by Aurelia in the end.
Yeah, so GAMERS2 had enough people in the area that no matter how slippery you were on Lee Sin there was just no avenue out. Maybe he could have gone for the execute had he known, but lack of vision in the area. And Prime just falling way, way behind. And I think a lot of this is due to the fact they've really not been able to use the Yasuo Lee Sin combo.
Yeah, and you know, Ocelot
going for it.
Getting taken free. Oh, nice flash out of Ocelot. Not going to be enough, but it was a nice flash.
I was so damned impressed by that flash.
Still had heal available. Didn't really have the time because the damage. Static Shift was completed already onto Yasuo, so he has reached a bit of a spike in that damage.
That was actually, I think, 3, maybe 4 crits in a row from WTF there as well.
That'll get the ball rolling.
Yeah, that does help. That's a big XP gain as well because of the level difference between them. So he's now level 11, hits a power spike, but they need to do something with it. They need to catch someone out. Ziggs is a very good target to be catching. He now has no flash. They have a lot of CC and a lot of burst damage. At the moment as well, GAMERS2 aren't grouping up. They're playing quite a split push and catch-orientated style, and that is how you can turn it back on them. You can try and catch the catch, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of forced into this catching style because of the incredibly strong team composition that SK Prime have. And if they never let SK Prime fight them as a 5, then for all intents and purposes, GAMERS2 should win the game.
That is the beauty of SK Prime's composition here, though, is because it's not just a team fighting comp. It is phenomenally strong at that. JWoww maybe about to train one-on-one.
Yeah, he's going to go in one-on-one, and look at JWoww's damage already. Has that Trinity Force finish. There is almost no chance for WTF here.
It's gold.
Dude nearly gets the kill from Tormented Soil. It's a matter of time. I don't think it's going to help. I think he just wants DU to take it, to be honest. I think he wanted DU to steal that kill away.
I don't think it was... Yeah.
It wasn't going to happen.
Really, it wasn't going to happen. But I guess keep running and waste the time of 2 people as opposed to wasting only 1 of yours. And that may give them the positioning here, but I don't think they can do this fast enough. This is up in 1 second, but it's going to be maybe, 5-10? They don't have the time. They understand that they're backing off. But that means they will position for that dragon, and now they're out of position for this mid-tower.
Yeah, JWoww's going to take this tower down. I don't think Broken Shard should engage this. And he actually engages onto Ocelot, kicks Ocelot into the dragon pit and somewhat to safety. There's a lot of damage coming out from Ocelot after he got himself away from that. And from here, SK are now a little bit at the mercy of GAMERS2. Zaitan caught over the wall. Now in goes JWoww from the side. It's a double kill onto Yuki, and they look to chase down Smitty J. Is going to let him back away, but that's only because their focus is at Dragon.
Yeah, that's not good. And again, I hate to rag on the player, but strange decision-making by Broken Shard to go in there. I can understand, again, this is the situation where high-risk, high-reward plays are obviously the order of the day for SK Prime, because if they don't get a high reward, they're just going to lose. But if they aren't careful, they will lose much, much faster, and there just was no potential. They didn't have the Yasuo.
Yeah, I mean, the first half of the Insect was there. The getting to behind the enemy bit, that was fine.
I think he got it, though. Would it have achieved anything?
I don't know, because, I mean, they may have got Ocelot there, but Ocelot's angling was a little bit too good. And that's one of the things is Broken Shard couldn't get to a position to kick Ocelot into the team. He really could just kick him into the Dragon Pit, which helps no one. Did Ocelot get
Zaitan
that?
Got it.
Zaitan. Yes, Zaitan did get it. I was a little bit interesting.
Yeah. Braum does have like a little chunk of damage on his Q.
Braum will take it as well. Braum will just be happy with that. Throw out Winter's Bite that little bit more often.
Yeah. If you're going to give it to us, to your support, it's not the worst plan in the world. Especially when your mid laner is Yasuo and your top laner is Shyvana and your jungle is Lee Sin. Yeah. So, I mean, Kog'Maw obviously would be the ideal target, but that's actually probably the next best thing for SK Prime.
Yeah,
getting it at all is pretty good going.
Yeah, they were in a bit of trouble here, and GAMERS2 looking for the pick. Yeah. But middle lane, culling has been used. Unbreakable will prevent a lot of the damage. Yuki is going to try and trade with hate. Oh, look at that damage coming out from Yuki. As the Infinity Edge just ended up reigning supreme there, and from there. GAMERS2 now going to look to push down middle. Oh, the Mega Inferno Bomb is going to take out Zaitan, and this is 20 minutes on the clock, 15 kills to 2 for GAMERS2, and they focus themselves on an inhibitor turret.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Fair enough.
That made a lot of sense. Okay. So, well, I think getting into the game may have taken longer than the game.
Yes. That's not a good state to find yourself in. I'm not going to say that it's... Okay, actually, no, it is indicative that SK Prime didn't play particularly well that game. And I think we see why Broken Shard said he's in a slump there. Because his decision-making was poor, his mechanics were not up to the standard that we're used to. And that's just generally not a good thing when your team is very heavily dependent on you as a jungler. So he's going to have to try and pull it out whenever he's next playing.
I mean, the funny thing is we've seen SK do the complete opposite. We've seen SK Prime
roll people,
demolish teams with Broken Shard in the jungle. It just, again, it's one of those games where the first decision just ends up setting the rest of the game up for you. And it's so difficult when you're playing a composition with a Cogmore, who, of course, is a later game champion, against far more earlier game champions. It's very difficult.
Yeah. And I've got to say as well, I think they're a fairly momentum-based team. They like to be ahead, and when they are ahead, they snowball it very, very well. And they could have done that with this composition. Team fights, dueling, small skirmishes, they had it all. But unfortunately, they weren't able to make it work for them this time. So GAMERS2 are now 2-0. I believe that is their last game for today.
It is.
And they are looking on fire.
Yeah, they've been looking pretty strong, and we'll see how they do. I believe they play again tomorrow, but the next game of the day coming up, Reason Gaming will return to Summoner's Rift. They will face N-Faculty for N-Faculty's first game of the group stage. So make sure you stick around, because we'll be back with that game in just a couple of minutes.